So as of filming this, Captain America and Winter Soldier has just finished. So back in 2018, when Sam got the shield, I was like, it's gonna be renamed. It's gonna be renamed. And I kept on like refreshing the page to see if it was gonna rename, because I am that kind of nerd. And it never happened. So when we saw it, it made me incredibly happy. Unlike most people, I don't love Sam's suit though. I know that it's comic book accurate and all of that, and like when he like came in, I was like, dang, like immediately like him with the wings and everything like that was super cool. Once I got a closer up look, I don't love his suit. Like I find that so often white suits just don't do it for me, because you have the like, I don't know, it's just, they are either way too white or they're just like not white enough. I just don't find white a very flattering color. That's my darkness. Like, you know, Godspeed or White Canary. I'm so glad they changed her costume. The only costume I think that it kind of works is the girl from The Boys, and that's probably because she's super fair. But yeah, I think that it was a cool, I know it's his thing from the comic, and you know, you have that, but I thought, you know, Walker didn't have any white on his costume, and his is primary white, so it's showing like a morality representation color. I don't want to get into, I'm kind of bothered by like what that symbolism goes when you consider racism and put that in, you know, he's not a blonde-eyed, blue-eyed Cap, but he is wearing mostly white in his costume. I like the elements of action, and I like the elements of introspection and stuff like that. I just felt so often they were choosing one or the other. Like, again, at last episode, it was phenomenal in some areas. Like, it had a fan-freaking-tastic action scene, and then it had some really great emotional things, but it just didn't feel like it always went together. And then, like, I was like, how the heck are they gonna finish everything satisfactory for episode 6? And, I didn't think that they did that completely. I know some people like absolutely loved it. I know that they had some confusion where they were trying to wrap it up in a different way because of the pandemic subplot that they didn't want in the thing, because they didn't want to have a man-made virus killing people. We have enough conspiracy theories as it is. I love Bucky, but his action scenes and his and Carly's just weren't super interesting. I think that they were trying to parallel, you know, him not fighting versus Bucky and Sam, but I never felt that much connection with Carly as a character or their relationship. Like, I like Sam well enough, but I didn't feel, like, I know he cares, but I felt like he cares about her like he cares like everyone else. You know what I mean? Like, he feels bad for her and all of that, but there isn't, like, there's a deep connection. Sharon is the power broker. I don't think she's the power broker. I think whoever she was talking on the phone at the end is, because if you notice, catch me if I'm wrong, but she never says she's the power broker. Carly's like, talks to her, and then Georges comes in and he's like, so you're the power broker. But she never says, yes I am. She just goes with it. People are like, she couldn't be power broker, she was gone during the blip. And I'm like, what if she faked being dead? Because like, if she just didn't respond to everything, she could have been in deep cover there and just pretended to not respond to anything, and they would have thought, like, how are they going to prove that she actually was alive during the blip? Or just one of those Kennedy goers, because there's obviously no way that she became the power broker or this high up in 6 months. Especially if she was gone for like 5 years or something like that. Like, it seems a little bit too much like, I don't find, no offense to actors, I do not find her like a compelling actress. Like, I found her fine as like the awkward nerd, but I find all of her lines come off kind of really stilted and stuff like that, and was fine when she was playing kind of the same thing with Val. Everyone was like, oh, she's commanding the things, and I'm just like, it comes off a little stilted to me. I'm looking forward to seeing her because her character sounds cool and stuff like that, but there's just a little bit too much, I don't know, camp is the wrong word, I don't know, just too much oomph trying to make them stand out that they often don't. Like, the same thing, I don't like Baron Zemo. Every character people are like, that is the person who just blew me away, and I'm like, but did they? Did they really? I'm a jaded human. Daniel Burr did a fine enough job, like, I have no complaints, but I wasn't feeling compelling. I felt the same way that I felt in Civil War, where I was like, he's fairly forgettable. Especially since, like, it led Bucky and Sam to be both acting really out of character, I felt, especially Bucky during those episodes. John Walker just made me incredibly uncomfortable. I like John Walker as a character. I think he's interesting. I think that it is very interesting to make us, sympathize with a character that is pretty evil, but also isn't completely evil, because no one is, and that's a good thing to recognize and a good thing to represent. But how cool they were with him this episode, and like making jokes and stuff, just was so freaking uncomfortable. The last time you saw him, you were prying bloody, his hands bloodied from a shield that he had decapitated or brutally murdered with a blunt object someone. And he literally tried to kill you multiple times during that fight, and now you're making quips. The tone. Oh, I was so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable, the whole scene. Like, I'm fine with John Walker coming back. I think that his stuff can be really interesting and stuff like that. The way that he was executing this episode felt really bad. Like, I liked the fact that his shield fell down, as I really wanted Bucky to hold it up, but I understand, like, systematically and symbolically why Sam was the person to grab him and like lift him, and I was like, holy crap, he does not have super strength. And then I realized he's using his wings, he's using his unique abilities as Falcon to be a better Captain America, and thought the MPV of the episode was the woman who like grabbed the freaking helicopter. Dang girl, you managed to do it well. I was really annoyed that Carly kept on putting her mask back on, off, on. I don't know if it's because they were using stunt doubles, so they didn't want to have her face. But like, and also, okay, so she goes in and out of her like hostage van several times without locking it. Are you telling me that like during the time, like, I'm not saying that like it is pretty brave, you're being, you know, hostage, people with superpowers are fighting outside, but still, none of them decided that they wanted to try to leave or like sneak out the front. Especially since we know that the people in the van next to him all got away safe after they were let go by Bucky. So it's like, why was no one like, Sharon, why did you shoot to kill? Like, she boiled someone and then murdered someone else. And they're like, pardon. Sam was in danger of his life. You know, you can shoot to not kill. You shoot not to kill. Especially since, like, Carly shot you a few seconds earlier and you were still walking around and didn't need hospital and you shot her. I know a lot of people had mixed thoughts about the speech. So, thinking about it, I was like, I kept on wanting him to be like, I too was gone during the blip. Like, I know, like, I really wanted him to bring the boat into that conversation, so I need to re-watch it and see if I feel better now that I'm not expecting the boat to come up. It's like an odd thing, but like, I just really wanted it to be a thematic use, being like, yes, too, I was, you know, not allowed to get a bank loan. I know what the pain of other people is. Would you say that to me? Because that's what people across the country are doing. To make it a little bit more personal, but I also understand that he's a symbol, so making it universal. But I tend to think that symbols work better when you add the personal to the universal. Like, being denied something is something that is across a lot of people who are marginalized, people of color, Black people specifically, to have these continuing ones. So to use a specific example of it, maybe the stripes line just doesn't hit me the same way because I'm not American, but I think I really would have loved, okay, tell me this, we have the scene where it's like the surprise where he shows Isaiah the museum, and then we bracket it with him giving that speech the same way he gave the speech for Steve at the beginning. I think that would have been phenomenal, because my only issue with the speech is it did come off a little heavy-handed, and it came off odd, because what I know about politicians is they would have been getting the heck out of there as soon as he started like objecting them. They're like, no. They would not have been like so cool with like him criticizing them in front of the press. Like, there's no way they would have just like sat there and I had a little bit of unbelievability. So have him announce, you know, have him come out and then him giving a speech to Isaiah, not knowing that Isaiah is still alive. I also really wanted like a Patriot thing, because that's who Elijah, his grandson, becomes. So I was like waiting for it. Also, why was Torres not at the final fight? Like, I don't know. I wanted more with Torres. Okay. But like overall, I was really happy. Again, I didn't like the costume. I found the action a little bit terrible in some scenes. Like, I thought the actions with Sam was really good. I felt like Bucky's scenes just weren't particularly great. For action, I thought his scene with Yori was really good. That they didn't show it, and I think that has a power to know when not to show something is really important. So at the end, he's looking at Leah. We don't actually know if Yori forgives him or not, and I guess that's part of it, is that you don't necessarily need to have someone's forgiveness, but like I think that Leah saw him. It's so odd because she pays like a fair amount of screen time in the first episode and then is not even mentioned again throughout the whole season. And it's like, is this supposed to be romance? Like I was satisfied and I really enjoyed it, but I also had some really like weak moments. You know what I mean? Like I especially highlighted in this episode the fact that I didn't think that the acting from Sharon Harder was always great. I didn't think that they always had things figured out with Carly. I know there was that like exited vaccine plot and all of that stuff, but I still just didn't think it was. I thought that sometimes, yeah, I don't know, because like I did really like the scenes with Isaiah and Sam, and I thought they were really good. But it kind of did hit me when, you know, they're throwing around the shield, and, you know, it's the shield. And, you know, Bucky is like, you know, me and Steve never thought about what it would be like for a black man to, just like, I'm sorry, and then it moves on to, like, Bucky. And it's like, I feel so often that, like, when people are having conversations, like, again, in the therapy in the episode 2, like, so often, Sam's feelings are left aside for Bucky's, which, Bucky's my man. Like, I love Bucky. And I think that like, I find Bucky a more compelling character often because he's given that time, but also it shows in the thing, again, where, you know, we have Lamar die for John's plot progression, and, like, so many of these things, and it's like, you're talking about these things, but are you representing it in the way that you're actually giving moments to the cast members? And that's a thought that's in my mind, and maybe I'm overthinking it, but I was like, I don't think that the super soldiers are dead. That is my assumption, is that they're super soldiers. They can survive fire, right? Like, I don't know, because, like, Nico, is it, gets killed with the violent actions. But, like, Bucky can jump out of friggin' planes. Like, that must be much more pressure than a knife to the thing. Not a knife, a blunt object to the, well, although some people think that he got decapitated, which I guess would, definitely, I don't think you can bounce back from that. I don't know, I don't think that they're dead. I really want a season 2 of, Captain and Winter Soldier. I think that would be super great, and it would make me really, really happy. Yeah. I liked it. I really enjoyed it. You know, I stayed up late and I theorized. I thought I don't like it as much as WandaVision. Even though going into it I like the characters much better, although I do have this huge soft part for Paul Bettany ever since Knight's Tale, one of my favorite movies. I'm very excited for Loki. I'm excited that we've already announced that we're gonna have a season 2. Like WandaVision, I didn't think that the action always thematically worked. There was potential, but that it didn't completely pan out, so that hopefully we get to see more. And the parts that did pan out are the parts that I really wanted to see, and that was Bucky and Sam. I thought that they did really good jobs of showing their character. Would have I liked to see them fighting a little bit more beside each other this episode, because I don't think they fought at all beside each other, and that was kind of a disappointment. But alas, what shall I say? It was good. It kind of stumbled a little bit along the way, as Marvel films do, but overall I do enjoy them, whether they stumble a little bit or not. Have a great day. Happy reading, writing. Tell me what you think about Marvel, what things you're excited for. I'm excited for Loki. Very, very excited for Loki. I have a video that I filmed last week about ranking my heights on what it looks like for my excitement and kind of general information I know and thoughts on the upcoming movies. So I will let you follow that link if you'd like. And I will see you next time.